It's March the 24th, 1945, and high over Germany, P-51D Mustangs, piloted by Tuskegee Airmen from the 332nd Fighter Group, escort heavy bombers that are en route to Berlin. Nearly 1,000 miles from their base in Ramitelli, Italy, it's the longest mission of the war for the Red Tails, aptly named for the distinct crimson paint covering their elevators, rudders, and rear fuselages. These airmen have experienced racial discrimination from ground crews, other pilots, and senior Air Corps brass, many of which considered them unworthy and unfit to do the jobs they'd been assigned to do, in aircraft they thought better utilized in the hands of white aviators. But these young men are determined to do their duty and to prove the doubters wrong, spectacularly so. Scanning the sky for unfriendly company, 23-year-old flight leader Captain Roscoe Brown sees telltale contrail plumes above and to his left, alerting him that enemy aircraft are approaching. Instinctively, he barks a command to the airmen around him. "Drop your tanks and follow me." On cue, 2nd Lieutenant Charles Brantley and 1st Lieutenant Earl Lane jettison the 110-gallon fuel tanks affixed to the hardpoints under their wings. After jettisoning the tanks, the Mustangs are lighter and nimbler. They'll need these advantages if they're to have any chance of surviving the impending encounter with the more than 24 Messerschmitt Me-262s streaming towards them at nearly 500 miles per hour. From JG-7 in Brandenburg, the 262s are the Germans' twin-engined jet-powered wonder weapons. They're faster, better armed, and more advanced than the American piston-engine fighters. And as far as their German pilots are concerned, they are the master race who will bring victory on this day. Moments later, in a chaotic mismatch of hissing jets and roaring Mustangs, aviators maneuver for clean shots at their adversaries. Early on in the engagement, it's a stalemate, until 10-kill Luftwaffe ace Lieutenant Colonel Franz Kulp singles Brown's Mustang out of the crowd and accelerates towards him. When he sees Kulp, Brown is just more than half a mile away, and he knows that outrunning the 262 is impossible. Instead, he quickly shoves the throttle forward, sending fuel into each of the Packard Merlin's 12 cylinders. It responds with a deafening roar as nearly 1,500 horsepower surge through the crankshaft to the massive four-bladed propeller. Powered up, Brown turns into Culp's aircraft to negate its speed advantage. Now he's at 8 o'clock to Culp's 12, and the unlikely opponents are hurtling towards one another at a combined speed of over 1,000 miles per hour. Brown squeezes off 3 long bursts from the 650 caliber machine guns in his wings, peppering the starboard side of Culp's jet. Almost immediately, flames burst from the stricken 262, and large chunks of fuselage fly into the air. Inside his cockpit, filling with smoke, and the flight controls unresponsive to his commands, the wounded ace pops the canopy and bails out. Next, it's 2nd Lieutenant Brantley's turn to make history. Not one to be outdone, he circles the periphery of the melee, waiting for a lone 262 to wander into his path. And it's not long before one piloted by another ace, Oberleutnant Ernst Werner, does just that. But this engagement is over even quicker than Brown's. Outmaneuvering the more experienced pilot flying the technically superior aircraft, Brantley fills the jet with 50 caliber rounds, killing Werner and becoming the second black pilot of the day to engage and shoot down a vaunted Me-262. And the skirmish is far from over. Using his exceptional eyesight, 1st Lieutenant Lane spots a single 262 that's broken from the pack 2,000 yards away. At its controls is Lieutenant Alfred Ames, with 7 confirmed kills under his belt. Instinctively, Lane yanks the Mustang stick to the left, then back, tugging the machine into a tight turn. Straining to keep the fast German plane in view as it speeds away, both man and machine are nearing their limits. In addition to sheer strength and the Mustang's maneuverability, Lane relies on a new K-14 lead computing gun sight to get his bullets on target. At such speed and range, he'll have to fire well ahead of the shark-shaped jet, rocketing through the sky. The 262's distinct silhouette is barely in his gun sight, but hoping the spanking new gadget works as promised, he squeezes the trigger, unleashing 3 short bursts. Tracer rounds stream through the sky in great sweeping arcs, and fractions of a second later, slam into the 262. Again there's smoke and damage as bits of airframe break off, and though he can't be sure, Lane thinks he sees the pilot bail out. What is certain is that the 262 is going down, and fast. Diving, Lane watches it crash into the fatherland before being engulfed in a puff of coal grey smoke. Wary of maintaining altitude and conserving precious airspeed, he pulls up at 17,000 feet and scans the sky for avenging 262s, hell-bent on settling the score for their fallen comrade. Ams, having escaped the 262, floats down to earth in his parachute and comes to rest entangled in tree branches. He's rescued, but never takes to the skies again. On that day, the three Red Tails served their country well by shooting down 3 German jets on just one mission, and in doing so, also chalked up a victory against discrimination. Brown is largely credited with being the first pilot to ever shoot down a jet, and he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for his service. Most of our viewers aren't yet subscribers. If that's you, then please hit subscribe and help support the channel. Thank you.